All right, guys, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to the aftermarket recap. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of G.A.R Capital. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to join me. Let's go ahead and talk about all the market movement. We do this every day at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're more of the morning person, we have the morning note at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Here to help. Before we begin, make sure to click bottom right-hand corner of your screen, little white logo. As always, click on that. Subscribe to our channel, like our videos. Comment your questions and turn on notifications. Really do appreciate it. Again, liking these videos really helps the channel. So again, I really do appreciate it if you do. Okay, so let's talk about it. Dow futures. I'm thinking morning note. Dow closed today up 617%. The Nasdaq gained 0.83%. The S&P gained 1.42%. The VIX came down 10.19%, 2795. Russell 2000 came up 2.79% at 219.21. That's IWM. The dollar index did gain about 91 cents, 96.11. 10-year yields gained about 14 basis points, 1.448. Let's see what else. High yield credit gained. Investment grade credit gained. Crude oil did gain 2.75%, up about $1.80, 67.37. Gold was down today 0.82%, 1769. Silver futures up 0.30% at 2240. Ethereum futures closed down 0.54%, 4569. Bitcoin futures above 57,000, up 0.13%. Not much going on there. And gasoline futures gained 1.63% today. All right, let's take a look at the heat map for the S&P. Here, first we're going to go to groups and see what sectors did well. It's a green day all around after a red day yesterday. Then we'll talk about relative performance. Energy was the big winner today as OPEC had their meetings in Vienna. Energy, industrials, real estate led the way. Financials also gained. So again, you could see on the Dow being the big winner among the major indices. Well, other than the Russell, but again, that's value. Remember, we talked about that yesterday. Russell has more financials, more energy, more industrials. So does the Dow. I mean, Boeing alone added a lot of points to the Dow, up 7.5% on the Dow. So keep that in mind. Nasdaq, again, being the laggard in this one. But again, technology was up 0.87% today, 1.5% for communication services. So again, Nasdaq did well. Some Nasdaq hyper growth names have been falling. DocuSign, for example, tanked today after their earnings. They were down. I just posted that on Instagram. Let me see exactly. It's down 25.58% on DocuSign. I don't own that stock. I do own some ARKK. I think ARKK has some DocuSign. So there you go. 1 week relative performance so far this week. Utilities being the best of the bunch, up down 1.8%. Consumer cyclicals being really the ones that are focused, being down. Of course, that would be like your airlines, your cruise lines. The cyclicals, shopping, that sort of thing. The consumer defensive is more of like Procter & Gamble, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Philip Morris, stuff you can't live without. Consumer cyclicals are like movie theaters, stuff like that. So keep in mind when you hear cyclicals, I mean, it moves in cycles. When things are good, they do well. When things are bad, not so much, because that's more of the discretionary spending, meaning a person like you and I, a consumer, we don't have to go to a movie theater. We don't have to shop at certain stores and buy certain things, but consumer defensive being more of the consumer staples. So it's consumer staples, consumer defensive, the same thing, cyclicals and those and the like. Defense, consumer cyclicals, those are, I had the word in my head and I forgot it. It was consumer cyclicals and discretionary. They're the same. Discretionary and cyclicals are the same. And then you have defensive and the stuff that you need to live with every day. So think of that way. The best way I remember when it comes to defensive is like Procter & Gamble. You need razors, cereal, that sort of stuff, General Mills. Stuff that you need. Cyclicals are stuff you don't need, but you have money to spend. So kind of keep that in your head. Sorry, I got in a little tangent there. I really was like, what the hell did I just say? Anyways, let's take a look at the heat map together and see what's up. That's maps. This is courtesy of FinViz Elite, which I do use. We'll go to the heat maps. This is the S&P 500 heat map. So we'll go over exactly what happened today. Microsoft down about 1.18%. Google gainer 1.38%. Facebook pretty much flat. Amazon pretty much flat. Tesla down about 1%. Apple down about 0.61. They were down a lot worse on that Bloomberg report regarding the demand for iPhones. They were telling suppliers that we don't have that much demand, so like kind of slow down on the supply. Apple was bought up on the dip, so there you go. I do have some Apple calls for next week. Nvidia up 2.2%, very nice. There was some SEC news on it regarding their buy. They were going to buy a company, I think it was ARM, the ARM deal. Let me see if I can find it. I had it here. There we go. The ARM deal, here we go. SEC just had it here. I retweeted it, so I could just go by here. SEC adopts rule, that's not it. Okay, FTC challenges NVIDIA's $40 billion deal for ARM. So again, that didn't affect the stock that much. Intel was gained 1.85%. Some of the semiconductors that did well yesterday, we talked about Lam Research, Applied Materials, they were red today. MasterCard, PayPal, Visa, all did well today after being beaten down yesterday. Financials the same. Energy, green today. You could see some of the healthcare that did well yesterday didn't do well today. Pfizer was red today. UNH chugging along, doing well. Adobe up 2.20%. So a lot of green, more green than red, obviously on an update. The Dow being up 617 points. Obviously, you could do the math. So that's where we are today. Okay, with that being said, let's take a look at some technicals here on some of the majors. And we can take a look. I put this on Twitter as well, that 50-day moving average. Put it on Instagram. That seems to be that pivot. That 50-day moving average here, there, that seems to be that level that we talked about yesterday in the aftermarket recap, where we've kind of bounced. It's kind of been that, line of demarcation, let's call it, where, you had bounces on every single month almost, the past couple of months. August, September, had a bounce in June, you had a bounce in May, you had a bounce in March, you had a bounce here in late February, early March, and in February again. So, and then we tested it around January. So you could see that kind of that yellow line, that 50-day moving average on the daily, has kind of given the roadmap to the S&P. I also posted earlier that there was a stat. Again, it's just statistics, but you can see here what I posted. Bespoke Invest type this. The S&P 500 is set to close with 5 straight trading days of 1% absolute moves. We had 1.42%. Last time this happened was a 7-day streak between 10/28 and 11/5/2020. So if we zoom out, we can go back to November 5th. Let's call it November 9th. And since then, we went from 35.81 to 45.81. That's 1,000 S&P points within that period, in between that 5 straight trading days of 1% or more. So again, it's just statistics. It doesn't mean anything. But again, if we follow that pattern, then could we get another 1,000 points to the upside? Well, that would be great. But let's see how people handle the volatility for now. Okay, with that being said, let's go ahead and answer some questions. Thoughts on Palantir for the next 5 years? I love Palantir. It's one of my favorite stocks to own. Sure, the price action is kind of crappy, but I think they are a great company to own long term. Again, still stuck in this pattern of right around, let's just call it 31 to 17. That's where we've been kind of stuck. Below 17, I'm a buyer. It's still just stuck in range. So I like Palantir long term. They've gotten some new contracts. I own about 350 shares. Not tons, I know, but I'll definitely buy some more in a dip. I can't wait. AMD thoughts. AMD was green today. Obviously, let's take a look at the hourly chart. I can go ahead and expand this, make life easy. See a little consolidation here since yesterday. You can kind of see kind of a head and shoulders if you want to talk about it. If that's the case, that's a bearish sentiment. We'll probably get down to 140. If it does break above 156.34, then calls would be best. But you have to wait a little bit. I wait for that 50-day moving average break. If it breaks 156, I'll go for the 160s. But here, it's really no man's land. Again, you kind of have a kind of head and shoulders here. 1, 2, 3. That's kind of bearish. So again, on a technical aspect, I wouldn't be surprised if we retest down to around 140, which wouldn't be a bad idea to buy some. I'd rather wait for 115. I own shares of AMD. I'm happy with them. But again, I would love to get more on a deep discount. So let's see if we get to 115. Hey, you never know. Price to add Apple long term. To add Apple for me, it's 156.52. You can see in this chart here. It'd be right before that first breakout back in, wow, it just seems like so long ago, right? Actually last week, 2 weeks ago. And then you can see we retested, came back up. It looks like we were going to retest, and then the buy the dip buyers came in. But 156.52, I'm a buyer. What's the significance between bonds and treasury yields? So bonds just move inverse of yields. That's basically all it means. So if bond prices go up, yields go down. If yields go up, bond prices go down. Thoughts on WMT? WMT is a consumer staple, you know, consumer defensive. You're always going to shop at Walmart, no matter what. If you're expecting growth from Walmart, it's not going to happen. There is no growth in Walmart. That's the max they can do in terms of stores and reach. So again, pays a solid dividend. You know they have money. You know that they're going to be fine. So again, you can see we're about 135. I mean, for the year, I believe we'll have to go into rolling 52 weeks. But in a 50, you can see here, again, if we expand it to 20 years, they've done great. But it's slow trekking, man. You're not going to get hyper growth. So again, if you're the kind of guy that likes dividends, Walmart pays a 1.62 yield, and you know they're going to pay it. So again, that's pretty safe as it gets. Walmart, just a heads up. But again, if you're looking for like some moves, like you expect 40% in a year, 30% in a year, 20% a year, that's just not happening. It's like Coca-Cola. What's your cost basis for Palantir? Let's see. I had it here. Palantir. My cost basis on Palantir. I know I'm red on it. Palantir. I have to look at my thing here. Palantir. God, I just had it. Palantir, my cost basis is $23.39. So I'm down about 15.84% on it. What do you think about CL right now? Let's take a look at crude oil. Crude oil is bouncing above the 50. Interesting. On the daily, we still need to get above that 200-day moving average of 69.87. I'm still long crude. I still think we're going to get to $100 a barrel down the line as we get more demand. Right now, we're kind of pulling back in terms of this fear of the variant thing. But also, again, you know, oil prices move up and down. Now they're doing their OPEC stuff. Obviously, we opened the strategic reserve and all that jazz. Does that really make a huge difference? I mean, depends. It's really just consumption. But at the end of the day, it goes by the dollar as well. So if the dollar gets firm, gets stronger, crude oil is going to go back down as well. So you can see crude oil here. I'll bring up the dollar index in comparison. Dollar index is up while crude is down. That's how commodities are priced in dollars. So just keep that in your mind. Thoughts on KHC? Would you buy WMT or money is better? So that really depends, GS. I mean, you're asking me a question when I really don't know much about your investment objectives, risk tolerance, or what you're trying to do. It's not as simple as, you know, is this stock good? Well, stock is good for me, but I don't know about you guys. So everyone's different. You'd have to just do your research on it and see if that's something you want to own. And if you don't want to own it, don't buy it. KHC is Kraft Heinz, again, another staple. Again, you're not going to get a ton of growth. So again, but it's starting to start creeping down to around $31, which is the support there on the daily. We bring up KHC stock. The yield's right around 4.81%. So again, if you're the type of person that likes safe yields, then okay, KHC is a good one too if you want to own it. Again, people are always going to buy cheese, macaroni, and ketchup. That's not going to go away. Time to get into FB. I don't know if that's a question or that's a statement. Did AMC find support here on the hourly? Was looking at puts for next week, still on the daily decline. Let's take a look at AMC. AMC did bounce today, mind you. Well, everything pretty much bounced. Right near the 200-day on the daily. So again, looks like it did hit that daily support so far. Another daily support is right around 23. But again, you could see a decline here, obviously, starting to break down. If you start getting above 35, that's where it gets interesting, where you can start targeting possibly the 40s for calls. You may have to buy some time, maybe a couple weeks, but I wouldn't buy it here. That's for sure. I'd wait a little bit, see if you can get to around 33. But 35 seems to be a safer place to go. But yeah, there we are. In regards to the market, my commentary, I mean, guys, it's been up and down, up and down. Did any news change from yesterday, that changed from Tuesday, that changed from Monday? We still have the Omicron variant, right? I mean, there's no real deaths. There's a hospitalization in New York. He traveled to New York. He's in Minnesota. He came from South Africa. It's one guy. So again, we don't know much yet. Are we seeing that the bio companies are working on a vaccine or whatever? Sure. But panic? I mean, unless we start getting announcement of lockdowns and infection rates go higher, fine. But I think it's just more of an excuse to wind down gains for the year. Remember, this S&P is up. Let's see how much the S&P is up year to date. S&P year to date is up. I'm going to get you that number right now. S&P is up 21.86%. You don't think that some people are taking this as an excuse to take some profits? Don't you see the CEOs taking profits? Elon Musk is selling stock or options. Jeff Bezos has sold. Zuckerberg has been selling all year. I think it's just an excuse. I mean, if you want to sell stock, be my guest. I'm going to be looking to buy stock when people panic. Now, obviously, there was nothing I bought today. The only thing I did today, I did close those Lucid calls. They went red. They went to down like 90%, which sucks. It happens. It bounced a little bit, but again, tomorrow's the expiry. That's the one L for the week that I have. We also got into Apple calls for next week. So again, for being treacherous waters, we're like 5 out of 6 this week. So we've been very careful to see what's been moving. Luckily, yesterday I had IWM and I did close it on a UOA. So we locked in 20%. Sometimes it's just good to take those base hits. I'd rather hit a high batting average than have the most home runs in a season. That's the analogy with baseball. Let's see. Thank you. You're welcome. Sorry, that's a question. Price action has been crazy for Facebook or Meta. I love Facebook. I really do. I'm waiting for more of a dip. Then I can get. I want to buy it at $300. Definitely want to buy it there. So again, if it comes down here, I'll definitely buy some. If you want to buy it here, that's up to you. But I'm waiting for $300. I already own it. Failure to do to get your mind off the charts. Very simple. Sports. Right now, I'm missing Manchester United against Arsenal, but we beat them 3-2. Glory, glory, Man United. I love it. Yeah, I watch a lot of sports. I'll read a lot about sports just to keep my eye off the charts. Sometimes I'll play a little PlayStation here and there. But for the most part, if I'm not putting alerts, I'm kind of working on some other things. But again, sports, I love sports. So I'll listen to like Skip and Shannon, which is on FS1, Fox Sports 1, Colin Cowherd, ESPN, that sort of thing. That kind of keeps me away from staring at the charts and making trades I don't need to make. For example, when you leave runners, how many contracts is typically for your total contracts? One runner, just one. I don't even do runners, to be honest with you. I think it's fine if you want to, but I don't have FOMO. I don't give a crap. I'm just more like, all right, next. What's the next one? Just keep them coming. I think runners for people who have FOMO, who are just always like, I need to screenshot the best. Doesn't matter. 40%, I'm happy. If I could do that, I'll rock with it. All right, thank you, GS. All right, man, we're going to leave it there. Have a great rest of your evening. No morning note until next Thursday. I am out on vacation with my wife, celebrating our anniversary, 1 year. Can't believe she can still stand me, but that's all good. But yeah, we'll leave it there. So have a great rest of your night, and I'll catch you guys next Thursday for the morning note and the afternoon note. Have a good one, guys.